and let my man Jarrell's Journal says, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. So I had to get that whole situation with Tyree out the way because the real reason why I wanted to come on here tonight and have a conversation with y'all is because we found out today that Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator for New England, has taken over or will be taking over as the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So, of course, you already know I had to go get my man, Phil Jones, and have this conversation with him. So please help me welcome my man, Phil Jones, back into the sports arena. Good evening, Phil. What's up, my brother? How are you?
Hey, Eric, how you doing?
Brother,
Doing
I'm
great.
good. I'm good. So talk to me because the news dropped and actually, and I'm going to find your actual IG post that you put out back in January, or actually, no, back in December, I think it was, that you said Josh McDaniels would be the new head coach
So I
of
put
the
it like
Lord.
this.
Okay.
We talked about this. So really, you look at what Mark Davis was doing,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted to do things thoroughly. I'm sorry, my phone's going off crazy.
Oh, I'm
I'm about
sure.
to find out who the staff is coming up. Um, we had an idea like, okay, he wants to go the right direction. He wants to make sure he can interview everybody, make sure that he doesn't make the same mistake that he did with John Gruden. Because really that was grab and go and didn't really look at anybody else. Now he's learned from his mistake. It starts with Dave Ziegler. When he interviewed Dave Ziegler, I'm guessing, Ziegler brought more to the table than other candidates. He said, well, let's put it like this. You're bringing me over. I already know a head coach that can get the job done for me. You look at the problem that went on for the offense. You couldn't get things done in the red zone. I'm bringing over a guy that can get it done. Here's my guy, Josh McDaniels. And I believe that he went bold and said, let's get him on the phone. Got him on the phone, got talking, was convincing. And now you always think that, hey, you hear the history with Josh McDaniels and Spygate, and you're like, oh, we heard about the whole story with you with the Broncos, with the whole cheating scandal. I feel like the reason why we didn't hear anything during that time, a lot of them were thinking things over. Like, do we want to take Ziegler and McDaniels? And I guess the more and more that they were getting convinced about what he could bring over, and, people deserve second chances, they said, all right, let's bring him in. And
right.
so on and so forth. They got it done. Really, this looked like they got it done that Thursday.
Wow. So real quick, I want to make sure because I did pull it up. This was just yesterday.
Yeah.
You put this up on your IG at Phil Jones NFL saying he would definitely be the Raiders' new head coach. So I just want everybody to see this and know that my man Phil Jones always on top when it comes to his Las Vegas Raiders. But speaking of that, so give me your impression, and more importantly, give me your outlook now that this team in the front office, it appears as though they are putting these pieces together again.
So a lot of people are so worried that the Raiders are going to be doing a whole rebuild again. That's not going to be the case.
Okay.
You look at what Ziegler did when he came in for New England this past year, and you got key players ready to fill in. Got two good, solid tight ends. Got a solid veteran wide receiver. You were able to get pieces on the defense that needed to be instant boom. Within the draft, everybody was like, they get Mac Jones, oh, they're not going to do anything. And Cam Newton maybe, but that didn't work out. When everybody saw that Cam Newton was not going to be the guy sticking forward, and they went with Mac Jones, everybody just ruled him out. And it was kind of funny because you got to remember, New England had a lot of folks that were on that COVID list that opted out last year
Mhm.
came back.
Right.
But they upgraded everywhere from where the draft and free agency, and you see what they can do. They managed to get back in the playoffs. Ziegler can do the same exact thing. And I kept wondering why Denver wanted him back so badly. Ziegler had a hand in a whole bunch of affairs where Denver was like trying to continuously be in the playoffs, be a contender, have another chance at the Super Bowl. I mean, that's something you want. You want a guy that has a winning background. You want a guy that understands that, okay, I've had the ups and downs, but I was able to climb up and have that winning background. I can bring it to this organization, and that's what the Las Vegas Raiders need. I mean, yes, they went 10-7. They went to the playoffs. I kind of base off of that. It was like a lot of emotions going on. You look at this team, everybody was screaming for Richard Biscaccia to come back. But again, I look at this was everybody just, in that emotional moment with everything that went on. And you got to look, can he actually repeat and do the same thing? And I don't think that was going to happen.
You really don't believe so, because there was a different sense of feeling with that Raiders team. And, you were successful in making it to the postseason. And in the beginning of the year, listen, there was no question that the Las Vegas Raiders were a odds-on proverbial team that could get into the dance. Yeah. But then everything happened. And, but from there, the Raiders were able to find an identity once again and get themselves back to winning ways. And yes, look, it came down to the very end. It came down to the last game of the regular season. But you did it. You got in.
So here's the thing. You got to look at the skid that they went on. That's the one thing that stuck out to me. The second thing is this. They wanted everybody retained. And when I think of everybody, I think of my offense. I think of having Greg Olsen and the questionable play calling that was being made. You having that all over again, you're getting figured out too quick. We don't know how the season's going to turn out. And then the other thing is this. I look at when John Gruden had resigned. Now I'm hearing all the players just getting out of line. What I found out about John Gruden was this. He had, even though, he had his stuff, he kept those guys in check. He had them on a curfew. Resigns, all of a sudden, these guys running buck wild. I don't think that is, and it makes a lot of sense when you got a lot of younger guys like, oh yeah, I want Coach Biscaccia to come back. He's going to let me be able to do what I need to do. But, we love him. But at the end of the day, there wasn't any structure. There wasn't anybody to really keep order once John Gruden had left.
Okay, so I understand as the interim head coach, there's a certain level of respect that needs to be earned first and foremost. But you were still winning. So it was being translated on the field. And what I'm getting from you is the players, basically, the inmates wanted to run the asylum, basically. Okay. All right. But brother, like I said, I just wanted to get you on here because I know it is your Raider team, and I know that you always have your ear to the ground when it comes to finding out the information. I thank you so much for your time. Safe travels. I know you were heading down to the Senior Bowl. I myself just left there. Pack heavy because it is cold. I'm going to tell you right now. It was 39 degrees yesterday morning as these young men, yes, sir, as these young men were out there running a 40 time and doing these drills. I was very thankful when noon came around because it started to heat up a little bit. So, pack heavy, be safe, have fun, and I'll talk to you really soon, man. I really appreciate it.
All right, now. Thank you.
No worries. It's going to do it for your man, Eric Wilson. Josh McDaniels, new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. A huge shout out to my brother Phil Jones for coming on and talking to me. Again, I'm going to see y'all tomorrow night. Y'all already know what time it is. 10 p.m. Eastern. Me and the entire crew, we're going to talk Conference Championship Sunday, what happened. Of course, we'll probably talk a little bit about this whole Josh McDaniels story. We'll get into the NBA. And because it will be almost free agency for the WNBA, I know the Queen of Hoops and Megan Price, John Shear, myself, and Mike and Ty Ray and Ray Lynn are going to have pretty much a conversation about where we think it's going. Dominoes are beginning to fall. As John Shear has said in many of our chats, the landscape's going to be different. We'll see what happens. But always remember this, ladies and gentlemen, and I have the proof right here. Let me just show y'all this. Yeah, they still the champs. I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow night. Everyone be safe. Peace.